Don't ask me why, don't ask me how, but I think I did it. I somehow managed to find the most intelligent and the hottest woman in politics. I know. So brace yourselves because she has her brains and her perfect boobs out on display. And if I get through this interview, it is a miracle because they are absolutely mesmerizing and hypnotizing. Okay. Without further ado, it is the one and only Miss Politically Savvy, deemed the celebrity whisperer by Playboy.
This is the best interview of the day.
Thanks for having me.
You hit the nail on the head.
100%.
Period, yeah.
Touch them. You're cracking me up.
Wear them, baby.
This is good.
Taylor Ferber. This bitch is so accomplished. I actually have to, guys, normally I'll rattle off their cred and accolades. Okay, I actually have to read them off of my notes here. Okay, so this is the woman. She was regional director for Trump's last term in Georgia. She is the national communications director for Veterans for America First. And if I'm not mistaken, she was just elected vice chair of the Gwinnett County GOP in Georgia. And she and I together have been crowned the best racks on X, which we may or may not have deemed ourselves. It doesn't matter, but those are the facts. Savvy, welcome to the chat here on Talk to Me, Taylor. We are so excited to have you.
Oh my gosh. I am so honored to be here. I was so excited. If I can just take a minute when you're like, girl, you need to come on my show. Absolutely. So I am just honored to be here. Thank you.
It's so mutual. And here's the thing, Sav. We could, like everybody else, and as I have at length on this show, we could talk about, tariffs and the stock market and Israel and China and cancel culture. We could talk about all these things. However, it's a little bit like everyone's doing it. I don't like to do everything like everyone else. It's like been there, done that. We talk about these things all day long. So I say, let's get into the things that people really want to know. What do you say? I feel like you're the girl. I feel like you're the girl.
Yes.
Because you're so game always for anything anyways. I'm like, this is the one. It's time.
Yeah, let's dive. I'm ready.
Okay, so first things first, because you do have the street cred, right? Just like humble brag, tell us a really great sort of inside street cred story. I mean, you are up, you are, rubbing shoulders with the likes of Trump, of JD Vance. Like, just tell us, like, give us a picture, a lens into that world.
Well, it was street cred. This will take it to the next level. I have been immersed in politics my entire life. My background is banking, but politics is my passion, especially when it comes to Georgia politics. It's very mafioso here. So you got to know the players and you have to know the ins and outs. Well, after the 2020 election and then the 2022 midterms, I started looking, all right, where did we fall short as a party? Because it's not going to get easier. So I started data diving into voter blocks, into campaign strategies for both sides. And I came up with a ground game strategy, and it was specifically for Georgia. And I had the opportunity, I had gotten noticed by a couple of our senators here in the state, and they're like, Sav, you've done a great job. Hey, we want to get you, because I was a delegate for the state of Georgia as well. And we want to get you in with a picture for the president. And I'm like, yo, this is it. This is my chance. Screw a picture. I'm going to shoot my shot and present my ground game strategy to the president. And so I was so nervous. I didn't care about VIP. I didn't care about the clicks. I had my binder. It is glorious. It's in the other room.
Not to be confused, though, with the Jen Psaki binder.
Oh, absolutely.
No,
absolutely
ma'am. No, ma'am. She's like, there's no circling back in this house.
No. And I have this committed to memory, but, I had my beautiful, gorgeous binder with tabs. I mean, it was great. It's my turn, right? And the little staffer comes up. She's like, I'm going to need to take that. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you have to take it? And she goes, you can't take anything with the president. And I'm like, well, I'm not going in. And she goes, really? And I'm like, oh God. So she pushes me in with her little hand. She's like, all right, let's go. And she pushes me in and I look up and I'm like, like, there he is. This is the first time I've met him, and he is smiling and he looks at me and he goes, well, you are beautiful. My first words to the now president of the United States was, you are too, sir. And yeah.
Oh my God.
Then I
Dead.
commented on the whiteness of his teeth because they truly are like gorgeous white. Oh,
She's
and
like
he
they
was,
put the white and red, white,
I,
and blue. I
I
mean, they
actually
are.
said, that can't be Crest white strips. And he looks at me and goes, I'm sorry, what? Nothing. Well, then, little pleasantries. And he said one thing that got me back into savvy mode. He goes, I hear we're doing well here. I'm sorry, what? Who's telling you that? Well, the party. Well, they're lying to you, sir. And I've got the data to prove it. I have your ground game strategy. You must win Georgia. If you're going to win 2024, you will not win Georgia without me. So give me a Sharpie because I know you love to sign with them and show me the dotted line. And he goes, wait a minute.
Wow.
You have all of this data? I said, yes, it's in a binder. And I even have it condensed into an outline for you. But and I pointed to the lady and she's just standing there smiling. I was like, she wouldn't let me in here to give it to you. So then he goes, well, I want it. And yes, sir. And so I go to get it. He goes, well, do you want a picture? I'm like, sure. And so we take a picture. I walk out. My arm gets grabbed by now a congressman of Georgia. He was his national campaign advisor from 2015. And I give it to him. And then about a year and a half later, I am in talks to be his regional director in Georgia. And my ground game strategy was Trump Force 47. So it's a battleground strategy for all of the battleground states nationwide.
What a great story. And I just love how real it got so fast. Like, I heard it's doing well. You're like, let me tell you. And I could also see that the two of you would literally be like two peas in a pod because you do not look, act, sound, talk like politicians. And I mean that in the best way possible. And obviously, you and I have talked about this right offline. And that is the genius of Trump. I mean, love or hate him. I say this all the time. It's like, he doesn't need to be this highbrow talking down to you. Like, he talks like we talk. He's kicking it with like Burger King employees, like construction workers, because they feel like they get him. Like, he's out here calling jabs, like calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas at this Congress address, like we do to, the guy who's picking on you in high school. And you're like, back off, bucko. I mean, it's how we talk. And yet he's the most powerful figure, in the world right now. So I could really see how you two would just like, be like this instantaneously.
Oh, yeah.
And that's totally, by the way, how you are. For those of you who don't know you offline, Savvy is she and I are talking. We're like, look, what you see is what you get. None of this fake small talk. This actually is like this bitch, this thing. And I'm like, I'm obsessed. Like, I'm obsessed.
Same.
And
Same.
I think, Savvy, that there is this turn of the tide happening where we are just so sick and tired of the fake. Look, we saw Kamala and that whole party, by the way, it's being blown to smithereens, but fail miserably because everything was so fake and so contrived. Whereas you have a Trump who has like typos in his tweets and it's like, whoops, like what, again, what you see is what you get. And I'm curious because, my background is the inside of Hollywood and media and entertainment. And you are, in the nitty gritty with these people in politics. So paint the picture of what on the whole, whether it be conservatives or not, say you're at one of these gatherings. What are the attitudes? What is it like? Because I'm not going to lie to you. I imagine that it's very much like stick up your butt, very take self serious, all this. A mutual friend of ours actually said the best currency that you can have in these orbits is like basically like a take your dick out and swing it around contest of like, I know more than you, right? So paint the picture of what it's really like.
It is very much like that. Now, it's kind of funny because I am somewhat of a black sheep when it comes to, because I'm not establishment. I am not consultant class. I am grassroots. I am a Trump loyalist. Everybody knows it. So I walk in, typically tight dress, boobs out, MAGA hat, and the place goes silent, right? But it is very much like that. You know which players are the ones that are trying to be strategic about being there, right? And they have no loyalty to Trump. But then you have the real ones that go hard in the paint for him, and they're the ones to call it out as well. When you're going to, it's funny because, for instance, at a rally, when you have your white chairs and the people seated at the front, and you're looking like that dude paid to get here. That dude called in a favor. That dude, he belongs here. That dude, F him. But they all know that the only way that they're going to be elevated is on riding on the coattails of President Trump. But those people are now showing their colors in a very, very outward fashion. I mean, you just have to look at the way certain bills are voted on. And, they wanted Trump for that seat in November, but now they want all of MAGA, America First, President Trump to down the vine. So they're trying to do everything that they can do to stifle our voices within the grassroots movement, or MAGA, or America First, however you want to say it. But they cannot cancel all of us, and they will not, because there was a groundswell of excitement in November, and people are already prepping for midterms. They're already seeking out candidates that are America First to unseat the ones that are not. And it's actually really exciting, and it's going to be a bloodbath, but I'm here for it.
It should really come to no surprise. And for people like me who sort of, have one foot in and one foot out, of politics, it honestly is like another version of Hollywood. The way, like what I'm picking up, what you're putting down, it's social climbers, grifters who shamelessly will do what they can to get. I mean, are we surprised? It's world, they're worlds of influence and power. I mean, obviously Hollywood is like the epicenter of that, right? Wannabe influencers, actors, all this. And so I can only imagine, in politics, it is just another version of that. And I would also, I mean, you said something interesting, which I so adore and appreciate about you, is you're like, I'm the black sheep. Like, I come in with my MAGA hat and boobs out. And obviously, like, I salute you, because I never, in my line of work, ever did things the kosher way or the orthodox way. Like, I would, the way I dress, the way I do things. I interviewed celebrities on a selfie stick, like we're best friends, when everyone had their polished, camera crews and mics. Like, I never. So I looked, I always got looked at like I had three heads. When you walk into these environments being who you are, do you feel judged? And do you feel judged by people within your own party?
Oh, I am. I get the most hate from the people in my own party. Oh, yes.
What?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
What?
It's awful. Yeah, it is absolutely awful, because I do not fit the mold of a conservative GOPer, right? F that. No, that old white dude, white women party, that's gone, right? We need, because otherwise, if it's not gone, it's going to die out. And I am like, that's one thing I've said I love about you, is you're stunningly beautiful. And also, when you open your mouth, you're like, that girl's got her shit together. I mean, I absolutely love it, but I get the same heat. No one wants to take me seriously. I don't put out everywhere that I wrote the battleground strategy. I shouldn't have to. But just because of the way I look, I'm not taken seriously in politics, though I know all the players. I am literal friends with about half of Trump's cabinet appointees that I could call at any time, but I don't put that out there because I shouldn't have to. But my merit, it doesn't matter. It's just because of the way I look, and because I am the one. I will push back. I will question. And you know what? It's an uphill climb for people like myself and you, and those of us who, use our platform and our voices to educate people on what's really happening. Because for so long, for generations, we're just supposed to trust what our politicians say. Not anymore. And exposing that and calling them out whether it's in person or online. I'm blocked by my governor and my secretary of state. I don't care.
And
But
I'm blocked by Chrissy Teigen. Like, let's go. Let's go.
oh,
You know you're doing something right.
oh, I'm
Can
jealous.
we okay, so first of all, we need to talk about this. Like, we really need to dive into this because didn't I tell you guys, by the way, she is full-blown boobs out right now? I told you. I'm gonna send you a shirt. I mean, this is it right here, living proof. But you're exactly right. And the boxes that they put women in, as if you're either the centerfold and the sexy one, or you're the brain in a pantsuit. Like, I'm just so done with it. It's like, shouldn't we be empowered, breaking out and being all things and being more things? It's funny. We had George Santos on the new show I'm doing with David Pollack. He's so great, politically uncensored. And I was like venting to George about it. I'm like, can we just be done? Like, can we be done with the pantsuit, like women dressing like men thing? Like, I'm just done with it. But you wrote something so great. I think it was for Women's History Month. And you said, and I have felt this sentiment for so long. You said, no woke nonsense here. Just real women who don't need a handout or a lecture to prove their worth.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read it, I was like, that part again, and that part again. And Savvy, the thing that both sides fudge up about this, that's exactly it. Like, we're embodying all things. It's our worth.
Yes.
And yet you have the left who almost like they demonize men so much that they don't want women to be sexy. It's like, dress like a man because you can't give into the male gaze or objectification, blah, blah bullshit. So they like want women to be men while hating men. Weird. And my big qualm, I'll be honest with you, with the right is this very thing. You have like the Megyn Kellys, the Liz Wheelers, like they lose their mind over someone like a Sydney Sweeney being sexy and showing boobs in like a gown or in a show, like the
Right.
whole holier than thou. And it really bothers me. Like,
Yes.
What is the deal?
Yes, I know. I deal with it on a daily basis because my normal brand is a tight dress, like 4-inch American flag, like studded heels, and a MAGA hat.
Obsessed.
And oh, they're amazing. I'm very proud of those shoes.
I'm
They get
obsessed.
more play, by the way, than I do. And I'm like, yo, like they will come up and take pictures of my shoes. And I'm like, okay, thanks, guys. But that's something that it has bothered me. And that I think that's why I haven't wavered on that. Like, I found my stride and my personality and my style in my 20s. And I'm like, no, this is me. I'm not going to conform to anybody. Just because I look a certain way doesn't mean I don't have a brain that works too. And obviously the president knew it. And I was even wearing a dress that was like to here. So people can't say, oh, it's because of your boobs or whatever. No, it's because of what I had to say and what I had to present. But it's extremely, extremely frustrating. And I've noticed that actually on both sides, because if you look at Jasmine Crockett, I know
We're gonna get to yep, same page. She is on the notes. She is on deck. Yeah.
Yes, but the way she dressed before she was the Democrat, like star child, is completely different than the way she's dressing now. She's toned down the eyelashes, toned down the hair. Now she's wearing suits. Now she's doing terrible TikToks, but that's neither here nor there. But also within the conservative party, we have to wear like collared shirts.
No,
shit.
I can't.
Absolutely not. If I don't understand why being a conservative female, you must fit in this box. And I am determined to not. I have never been one that just is fine with status quo or boxes. No, I want to use my voice and I want to make waves. And if I have to do it with the way I look, by God, I will do it with the way that I look, because that will get your attention first. And then once I start to speak, you'll be like, oh,
facts. Rewind and listen to that part again and again and again. And that's what I was going to say. It's like the best, most fulfilling and satisfying for me. Boobs out, brain out. I don't even know how else to say it.
Yep.
It's like both things, and they're both a power in a different way. And there's nothing wrong with that. And, it is a shame, because when I look at these people specifically on the right, these pundits and politicians who it's not just the like judge or shade. It's just the whole like they're devalued. No one wants them. They're immoral. It's just like, what is the deal? Like, why do you have to go this hard? And I hate to say it because it sounds like such a clickbaity talking point, but it's again, it's like both sides of this like women self-hating thing in a really weird form. And I don't know what it'll take to bust through that. And I'm wondering if there is, obviously from what you're saying, it's like more than that than not, but would we be surprised? Because sadly, this is the conservative woman stereotype. Is there more of the black sheep like yourself? I know you had mentioned your friend Heather. Like, is there more going on behind the scenes that we don't see? And it's like when you guys come together, it's like, yes, we see you. Like,
Yes. And that is if I see anyone at whether I'm at a rally or some sort of event or whatever that is a female that is comfortable in her skin. And you know what? We can go there because this, what happened, like all these talking points where be happy in your skin. It doesn't matter what size, whatever.
right.
Okay. Why doesn't that apply to me? Right. Or you even, right? Like, okay, I'm comfortable in my skin, obviously, but that's not okay because I'm a conservative politics, it doesn't make sense.
Wow,
But
so true.
that is one thing I love to see, are strong women that come out, they're feeling themselves, right? They got the hair, they got the boobs, they got the booty, they got the, whatever it is. But then they're also saying, you know what? Look at me. That's fine. But also listen to what I have to say.
Facts.
And we'll approach every single one of them and be like, do you, boo? Do you?
Yes. Where the physical and the mental intellectual combine. And
And
I love what you said. It's like bring them in and then yes.
Yes, it definitely threatens people. I hear that
too.
quite often.
That too.
Is when you have a strong personality, someone like myself or you or Heather even, and they come into, because we command a room. That's what we do. And when you walk into a room and you're like, all right, that bitch is comfortable and she's got something to say, people are frightened of it.
Because straight up shook and frozen.
Yes.
It's true. It's true. And that's why I love what you're doing. And I want to empower and inspire women to tap into that and to tap into all of those facets of power because why the hell not?
Yes.
Like you're only shafting yourself, giving yourself the shaft. Yeah, exactly. But that's why again I love what you wrote because it's like we don't need all this and that to prove their worth. How about I just be that? And I don't need all these people telling me and but before we move on and pivot, we need to just talk about how we're both 90s babies and how we are like best racks on X, all this and how the boobs have made a comeback. Somehow it was all about the butt, the Kardashian big ass, and now the Pams, the Carmens, somehow the boobs, they're back, baby.
Thank God.
America first, boobs first.
America is healing.
I'm dead. Voice of the people. No, exactly.
Voice of the people. We're back, baby.
I also always say this too, like when the conservative women are so on their like high horse, it's like you think conservative dudes don't we know that Kid Rock can appreciate a nice rack. He's sung about it. Okay. So who are we fooling? Who?
Right.
Hello. Look at Trump's wife, supermodel, who posed nude.
All of his wives were hotties, right?
So,
come on.
You're only fooling yourselves, people. Like, why deprive ourselves? I'm just saying we want to be all about transparency and truth.
Yeah.
So speaking of, go ahead, Sav.
No, I was going to say, here we are, transparency and truth.
It's the golden age of America again, from executive orders to these. No, exactly. So, all right, you did mention Jasmine Crockett, right? And in one of our Twitter spaces, I had talked about how everything is very like memeified now. And why I tip my hat to you and salute what you're doing are in, like you said, grassroots, in the weeds, the not glamorous part that people don't see, right? Yes. But everything is so memes and this and that and the buzzy little clips that go viral. You have people like AOC, like a Jasmine Crockett. And look, I don't mean to knock them, but it can't help but make a blonde wonder in this day and age these are big roles. They are. These are big. So you don't just stumble your way into Congress. And I have to say, like, even with AOC, she's arguably one of the most famous and recognizable people in Congress. You're no dummy to pull that off.
No.
How smart is subjective? How accomplished do these people have to actually be to be in these roles? To be a congressperson, to be a senator is a little bit of a different story, but how qualified, it does make one think.
Yes.
I mean,
This is such a hard question because, I mean, how do I want to answer this tactfully?
I know.
You have to know people. You have to know fundraisers. I mean, really, if you look at AOC, you look at where she and Jasmine Crockett from Dallas, but that whole, and it's a little bit different on the right. I feel like I could be way off base. I mean, don't get me wrong. We do have some people that I'm like, why? How are you even in a elected position? But you are typically sought out for some reason within your party, right? So, more than likely, well, no, I'm not even going to assume. I'll go to the GOP side because I know how that works. If you are an up and comer in the GOP, and whether it's a state level, federal level, and you're checking off boxes about your appearance or about your voting history, about your schooling, how active you've been in your local parties, what committees have you served, then you get on a list, basically. And then you will move up through the ranks on that list within your party. And then you were put forth, which I hate. I absolutely hate that because I am a deep red, hard R Republican, even though I don't associate. I'm a constitutional conservative, but my voting record, my activity within the party, being a state delegate, serving on committees, working for the president, I'm still at base level because I'm not the one the party wants.
Basically, you just got to what I was getting at. Like, how are these, again, not to knock them, but like, how is someone like these two ladies versus like you should be? I mean, I don't even know if that's something you want to do, but it's like,
always
why isn't it you? Like, right.
Because I won't sit down and shut up. I've gotten the calls from people high up within the party saying to sit down and shut up. We know your political aspirations, but we're going with this guy. I had this before I joined the party. It was bad, but the party will pick out its candidates based on a voter block that they want to reach. So you have AOC. So they want a young Hispanic crowd because of what they're working for in the future. Hello, the border. You have a young Jasmine Crockett in Dallas. They want a young Black voter base to follow her because they know that voter block will more than likely just vote for appearance, not on substance. So,
I was always a sort of like middle of the road kind of girl, like I was always like way before it became trendy, which I have a whole issue about that. Like now suddenly everyone will talk about cancel culture, free speech. And I'm like, where were you all when we were doing the work publicly 6-7 years ago? Welcome. You've been unearthed from your rock. Welcome. Right. So I've always been sort of like, I see this about this side, I see that, but I've always been free speech, free expression, all of the through line of my work through and through kind of girl. And so with time, obviously that kind of pushed me further and further to the right. Obviously the intolerant woke and the left and just how illiberal they become and nonsensical. And I'm curious, like, as we end here, I think what's given a lot of people like myself hope about like what's crazy, like it's become like the new cool, like, right, is this idea of free expression and free speech and be you. So it seems like it's a little melting pot in and of itself. Look at all the Black people and Hispanics who came out for Trump, right, in this election. And then I hear like what you just told me now of like essentially picking and choosing and then even like getting judged for being you. And so do you have hope that it really will be. I mean, nothing's perfect. You know, the
Right.
states, like our country's not perfect, right? But do you have hope that certainly the right will be that sort of free expression, be you, free speech, you know, utopia that it has set out to be when I don't know that. I mean, not, like I said, there's discrepancies in anything, but I don't know how much of it really is underneath it all and behind the
Right.
scenes.
I do if people continue to fight back, if they continue to use whatever platform they have. They don't have to have a platform, as long as they continue to get out within their communities and actually talk to people about issues that are going on, as long as they do actual research instead of just listening to, I don't care what side of the aisle it is. But when I can assure you, and Fox News does it too. So I'm not knocking like a CNN or MSNBC. Fox does it too. I will question every single thing that I hear. And then I will do research. And I'm not going to do it at a right-leaning, website or news, whatever. I will deep dive. I'm going to pull bills and I'm going to read those bills. I'm going to look at voter history. But as long as people are committed to actually the truth and then working within their communities, then yes, and pushing back. I don't necessarily agree with everything President Trump says or does. I don't agree with everything that our legislatures say and do, and I will push back. And if they don't listen to the people, meaning I don't care what side of the aisle on, the American people, you're out of there, bud, because we have to now put together a bench, and that bench needs to be thick. That way, when someone falls out of line, you be like, all right, you're up, you're next, and you're America first. And there are good people on both sides of the aisle, but there are also corrupt on both sides of the aisle. They have got to get out. This is not going to be an easy battle. I mean, we are just beginning with midterms approaching. And I'm, again, speaking for America first. If we do not get out, if we do not talk within people in our communities or be a part of our local parties, do things to educate voters, even voting day. I don't care if you're a registered voter. Remind people when election day is, because they don't know. If we do not maintain the House and the Senate, we're done. If we lose the House, the power of the purse is gone. If we lose the Senate, we essentially cannot pass bills to get them to the president. The America First policies are dead on arrival at that point, and they will call for impeachment. So everything that we have seen that has begun to elevate America to back where she needs to be in her rightful place, all of that will cease to exist.
Wow. Did she stutter? What a great way to end. I'm so sad to let you go, but savvy for Senate, savvy for Pres, savvy for anything. I mean,
Put a savage
did I
in
lie?
the seat. That is my slogan for when I run. Put a savage in the seat.
Put a savvy in the seat. I am behind you every step of the way. And guys, this woman's ancestry goes back to the John Adams. Is she messing around? I don't think so. She is a ride or die. And all I can say is I am just so honored to be in your orbit and to support you and to learn from you. I think, and my audience knows I do not just say shit to say it. I do not. I am not that one. And so to see you going up against the grain and fighting for what you believe in and walking the walk in a time when it is so easy to be performative and virtue signal or be a sellout, like you are just such a real one. And I can't wait to have you back again and to watch your journey. And thank you for holding it down, for the rest of us with the movers and
thank you
shakers.
for having me. Like I told you from the second you and I started meeting, I'm like, she's going to be my friend forever. I don't know. She can resist all she wants, but I too could persist. So yeah.
You have a home here. It's so mutual. You have a home here anytime. And if there's anything, you want to talk about, that, Talk to Me Taylor is your platform too. So anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Savvy.
Mwah.